Welcome back, I'm Niklas. I'm a filmmaker and the founder of Elsewhere. And this is the Elsewhere story. In the last episode, I spoke about my childhood, how I learned to be a filmmaker, how I was about to start a company and applied for a new school and went to America for a vacation. And I spoke about how I returned to good and bad news. The good news came in the shape of an email from the film school Super 8 in Aarhus, who wrote that I had been accepted as a screenwriter. And just as I had moved to Aarhus, the bad news came. One of my best friends since the 7th grade, Jesper, was afraid that he was about to get diagnosed with cancer, and he wanted to hear if I wanted to document his journey if he found out that he had cancer. I said yes because I wanted to support my friend, and also I immediately started at the film school. We had an early writing workshop where I wrote with another partner called Josefine Leopold. Meanwhile, I wrote the script for our first year film. It was called Voyeur. Also, I had started a new job at a new television station in Aarhus called TV2 East Jutland. And on my days off, I had some freelance work at a commercial company called Deluca Film. And as I was getting to know my friends at school, I started speaking to a guy called Troels Engelbrecht, who recommended that I spoke to Casablanca in Copenhagen about the documentary I was making with Jesper. During this time, Jesper actually turned out to have cancer and he had gotten more and more sick. At the same time me and Jesper contacted Casablanca, we also started working on Elsewhere, where he started finding commercials, which I started filming. Some small internal commercials for startups. And also, I shot some music videos for some friends in Sweden who had a band in Gothenburg. During this time, Jesper was now in the worst condition of his life. Around the new year. After a very rough new year, our first workshop film premieres. Also, shooting starts for our first year film, Voyeur. And immediately I start writing the first draft to the second year film.
Hvad er det der? Er det ikke mærkeligt?
And this all progresses with my everyday job trying to push myself as a television photographer and editor, and doing music videos for a band in Sweden. And by this time we had spoken to Casablanca in Copenhagen, and I am now pendling from Copenhagen to Aarhus. So 2016 starts out hard with a sick friend and a lot of things to do. And by this time we had spoken to Casablanca in Copenhagen and are now pendling from Copenhagen to Aarhus, to Herning to film Jesper, to Aarhus to go to school, and to Copenhagen to help edit the documentary about Jesper. I become more and more stressed by having all this to do.
Jeg skal ud og besøge Jesper nu. I Herning. Jeg er fuldstændig smadret.
And all this coincides with me and Jesper having to do a parachute jump together for the end of the documentary. And it is during a time where I'm so stressed I don't even know how to work my parachute. So at the beginning of 2017, Jesper received the news from his doctor that he was cured of cancer. We premiered our documentary on national television, and over 500,000 people saw it, which we were totally blown away by. And I immediately went on to a second workshop film called Aarhus, which we did for something called Dramatic Lab. And also, the script was finished for a second-year film, Lux Eterna,
Ja.
which I wrote for a director called Edith and a producer called Charlotte. And they had assembled some A-list actors from Denmark, which was super impressive. And they started shooting.
Hej, Helene.
Unfortunately, I was too busy to visit the set because I was working for the TV station in Aarhus. Meanwhile, I was shooting another music video in Sweden. Lux Eterna premiered. And at the same time, I, for Elsewhere, was filming the Super 8 Film Festival, where we screened our own movies and a lot of other international movies. And immediately after the film festival, I went into pre-production of a short film I wanted to direct. And for the second time, its funding got rejected. And I was writing the first draft to a feature film, our final film at the school. Doing all this, I had worked so much and I was so exhausted. I had lost so much trying to do all this that I just went down with a depression and started having panic attacks. So I canceled the short film I was about to direct because I couldn't afford it and I didn't have any energy left to direct it. And the same thing unfortunately happened with the feature film as well, as we only had 2 months to prepare it. And after all this, I quit at the television station. And the last half of 2018, I spent all my time going all in trying to do a startup with a friend of mine who was a great writer, and she wanted to help me out with Elsewhere. So the next half year we fought with rejections from banks and running out of money. And when we couldn't do more with it, we went each separate ways. And in the end, I returned home to Jutland with all I learned from the trip east. And that's what I'd like to tell you more about in the next episode of the Elsewhere Story 2019. Thanks for watching.